Should the United States go to war in this Israel-Hamas fight? Should the United States help Israel in their fight? There are many in the United States who have the wrong answer to this.
I'm very heartened to hear some of your guests say that Israel is today focused on hostage rescue. I'd hoped that President Biden would direct Joint Special Operations Command, our Delta Force, our Navy SEALs to work in close proximity with Israeli Defense Forces because we've got Americans that are held hostage. And I respect at least the reporting that just happened on your broadcast that there's a focus on getting our hostages home. But I think we ought to be making it clear that with Americans in harm's way, with our cherished ally Israel suffering this brutal assault and now hostages being held, that we ought to make it clear to Hamas that they either turn them over or we're coming in and we're coming in hard.
That sounds really tough, and I get it. Pence is running for president, so he wants to sound tough. But that's terrible policy. Jack Keane then, also yesterday, said this.
Their number one proxy in the world is Hezbollah. If they get into the fight, I hope we've already told the Iranians that we will respond in kind to you if your number one proxy joins this fight. I would have liked the declaration to be made public, but I can understand there's value also in doing it privately, so somebody doesn't have to call a public statement like that, a public declaration. But I've got concerns whether the administration is doing that at all.
Does he not understand that that means that there's a region-wide war? Because we've already got Israel fighting for their lives in Hamas, in the Gaza Strip. Now that if you add a northern flank to Israel, so now then they've got a two-front war on their hands, and now then you want to make it a three-front war to bring in Iran into that, and that could potentially bring Syria in as well. Now, any one of these we can handle with no problem. In fact, they are deterred. They're deterred right now. They're all saying we'll stay out of this as long as it stays in the Gaza Strip. That's our interest too. But if we say no, we're going to get involved in the Gaza Strip, and then if Lebanon comes in, we're going to get involved with Hezbollah, and then if Iran doesn't like it, then we're going to go after them. So now then you're picking a fight and basically choosing a war that could result in American forces being killed, first and foremost. So right now, there's no threat to the American forces scattered throughout that region. You start taking this arrogant, presumptuous activity, and now all of a sudden you're putting them in harm's way, and some of them will definitely be killed, because guarantee this, Iran knows exactly where our troops are in Syria. They know where they are in Iraq, and so do a lot of these other Islamic fundamentalist terrorist organizations. We do not need a war. We need to prevent war, and we need to keep it contained in the Gaza Strip.